Good morning to our television audience on BCSN, now streaming as well at YouTube. Just find our Michigan Sports Network page there on the old YouTube. MichiganSportsNetwork.com is the website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. And gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are you this morning? Happy Friday.
It is a particularly good morning for the man to my left.
Woo! Fire up, Chips. Happy Friday, everybody. What a beautiful way to end the year. A nice victory. I think it's the first basketball victory CMU's had in 20 years. So, nice to end the year on a good note. And a game you couldn't watch. That had to follow along on stat broadcast.
Yeah, BTN Plus. I'm glad I couldn't watch it. I am glad I could not watch it. At 6:17, I will share my thoughts on that utter disgrace that took place last night in Chrysler Center. What an absolute debacle they have going on there. I wasn't there, so I can't take the blame for it. I was at home. A couple of my friends were like, wait a minute, how are you texting us right now? And like, how are you active right now?
How are you sad boy? How are you sad boy texting us and calling this game?
Yeah, they're like, wait, well, how are you doing? I said, I'm not there. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, Santa brought me the plague for Christmas. They're like, so you're not in Phoenix? I said, no.
Yeah, so you already had the fill-in already assigned, so good
Exactly.
for you.
Well, not only that, but one, I'm still not 100%, so I'm not going to go up there and sound like a crust ball. Two,
I mean, even getting on a plane would be bad for you. Would have been bad.
That would have been terrible. But I'm talking about the hoops game last night. I mean, that guy, Jason's excited about it, right? It's his first Michigan basketball game. Like, yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, now I can do it, so thanks for being available. Thanks for coming to Shadow, because he's got to do the game on the first because I got the Lions. And on the first, they're gonna get smacked. They're gonna get demolished. More on that coming up. But yeah, I figured that half of our listenership would be elated with the result that they saw, Chrysler Center. Not because half are Central Michigan fans, but the other half.
If this was Western Michigan, I wouldn't care. Wouldn't care. Eastern, a little different because there's the whole Amani story there. Bowling Green wins. I don't know how you'd feel. It'd just reminisce feelings
their head coach. He's a nice guy.
It'd reminisce feelings I had when CMU beat MSU in football, where it's just a pit in your stomach that's split in half.
Yeah, that's kind of when Toledo fans look back on their when Toledo beat Michigan in football. It's like, I don't know if I celebrate that. I don't know if I like that very much.
Like, I will on campus, but everywhere else, I hate myself.
When they beat Iowa State, I celebrate that. Pitt, sure. Any other team, absolutely. Score a touchdown in the opening possession against Ohio State, yeah, celebrate it. Beat Michigan, no, I don't think so, Jim. I don't think so. Well, I'm not going to celebrate that. And last night was just more of same. So I will. The issues are clear for anybody who doesn't know or is wondering what in the world is going on. We'll definitely talk about it. But I did say something last night in the group chat that will probably have most people here this morning. Just hope that buckle your seatbelts, grab the wheel with two hands, folks, because this one it's not a hot take because I said it and I went to Twitter to confirm, and it was immediately right there. So we'll get to all that at 6:17. And really, the theory as to why Michigan basketball is where it is at today goes back prior to Coach Beilein, but also has nothing to do with Coach Beilein and the basketball program. So I'll dive. We're diving into all that this morning. This is. I'm flipping tables at this point because that is what happened last night. I love Coach Barlow.
What happened last night, though?
Michigan lost to Central Michigan in basketball.
Thank you. I just wanted you to say it one time. I'll leave you alone after this.
Oh, no. Chippewas won 63-61. Central Michigan from the MAC.
Again, this isn't football.
From the MAC.
In football, if you lose to a MAC team, a good MAC team, it's like, okay, you know what? A team is due. Like, if Toledo goes out and beats a Power 5 team, you're not sitting there going, wow, that's bad.
No, they have a history. They have a resume of
MAC basketball, Central Michigan basketball, over the last 15 years has been grotesque.
Was Sue coaching last night?
Maybe.
Keno Davis still there?
Keno Davis not. There's Tony Barbary that's there. So,
I mean, that is, yeah. Trust me. I have no problem saying it. I mean, this. I love Coach Barlow. That's my guy. His dad listens to us every morning. He coaches in this conference. He sees what it is. The conference, it's mid-major basketball.
man, you lose to Ohio, like Ohio has shown they can. Of recent years, they'll have success in the tournament.
They did beat Virginia in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
That did happen.
Lose to Toledo. Like, again, those are the teams of MAC basketball. You're like, okay, those are solid group of 5 teams.
Buffalo when Nate Oates was there
Yeah.
coaching. Now
But
he's at Alabama.
CMU ain't it.
No, a majority of the conference ain't it.
They were four
The
and 8.
conference as a whole ain't it.
4 and 8 headed into that game. And I'm pretty sure half those wins were teams like Toledo was playing last night. Lords.
Hey.
Or Ohio Dominican is what Bowling Green played last night. Didn't know there was a whole Dominican school in Ohio.
You didn't know there was a Dominican school in Ohio?
No.
You probably never heard of Wilberforce either, have you?
No.
I thought Wilberforce was a cartoon character. It's actually a university. They beat Alma. Purdue Northwest. I don't even know what Purdue NW means. CSU Northridge, never heard of them. In Eastern Illinois. Their losses have come to Marquette, Minnesota, High Point, Cal Baptist, Bobby Moe, Tulsa, Youngstown State, Missouri State. Like you that is, wow, is that a bad loss? You're looking at a team that might not make the NIT. I'm going to be real honest with you, folks. They might not make the NIT. Forget trying to win the Big Ten. That's completely out of the question. Completely out of the question. No. Not unless they get to play Minnesota every night. That's not going to happen. Indiana's out there. Maryland's out there. Ohio State's out there. Izzo kids are out there. Wisconsin's out there. Oh, Purdue. All right, so let's take a trip back in time. John Beilein, when he got to Michigan, let's go back here in the storyline, because I know some people are like, oh, Freddie is always calling, complaining, I don't give opinions. Every day he calls and says, you don't have an opinion. I have an opinion on everything. I share it with you every single day on every single topic. I try to make sure that whatever happened last night that we cover, get you up to speed on. This is what happened. If you missed it, you weren't watching, you didn't care, you flipped on the radio, the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Lions, Michigan State, the MAC. Dude, everything. It's a lot of stuff going on. Here's what happened, right? I try to paint the picture. We have a discourse, a dialogue. We accept your phone calls, your tweets, your texts, even Officer Scott. Shut up, Officer Scott. Why don't you drive around in the patrol car, huh? How about that? How about you turn the sirens on? Go fight some crime. Stop worrying about Michigan basketball. Juwan, Officer Scott. Huh? How about that? How about you arrest Mel Tucker for fraud, Officer Scott? Press some charges in East Lansing. I don't want to take it there right now. I want to go back in time to John Beilein. Coach B came in at such a pivotal moment in Michigan athletics because at the time, Domino's was here, and the athletic department was just, hell. Lloyd Carr on his way out, God bless him, on his way out of coaching, not, his current health status. I didn't want to phrase that the wrong way. Love Lloyd Carr. Kid went to Notre Dame. Grandson, no issue with him committing to Notre Dame. We've talked about that. He's on his way out. Michigan football is in shambles. They are just broken. The Rich Rod years. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? You can't win in the Big Ten with this spread offense. You're not a Michigan, man. Hardy, har, har. Right? Football team is in chaos. Michigan fans need something to cling to. In comes the Holy One himself, Father John Beilein. And as a minister of God, I have anointed John Beilein to be, part of the clergy as well. So welcome. And so as Father Beilein comes into Michigan, here is this lovable older man who goes about recruiting 3-star kids and people nobody's ever heard of, and building a consistent winner that plays a consistent style of basketball, that defends. They find some shooters out of nowhere. Who are these people? They come to Michigan, and they stay at Michigan, and they turn into professionals. They had a really good run there. A really good run. Like one of the greatest eras in Michigan basketball history. Like Rudy, Kazzy, Fab 5, 89 team, John Beilein. Those 5 best eras of Michigan basketball. In the Fab 5 one, you could probably be like, oh, well, they had the scandal. So, okay. But Michigan basketball got out of the depths of hell from the NIT to national championship games and an awful call away from hanging a second national championship banner. They got there, and the fans were able to cling to that because everything about the program was likable. Right? Everything about it. That likability matters, right? And when you're winning, you're a lot more likable. But when you're just a nice older man, you're likable, okay? So as football was floundering, at least basketball was there to save the fan base. And basketball's relevance and importance began to increase and rise. Well, as football has gotten better, basketball has taken a back seat because at the end of the day, we all know football is king. If you have any questions, look at the NFL ratings and then call me back. As basketball is now floundering, it doesn't really matter to the Michigan fan base because of where football's at, right? All attention is on tomorrow. Me, on the other hand, this matters. This is the worst loss that this program has had since John Beilein was hired. You got to go all the way back then to find, prior to his hiring.
When was the New Jersey Institute of Technology?
Oh,
loss?
yeah.
Was that Beilein or was that right before Beilein?
Oh, my God. How do you remember that?
That's the only, bad Michigan basketball loss I can remember of the last
15 years.
Yeah.
That was 2014.
That was 2014?
NJIT stuns number 17 Michigan.
That seems like it was 15 years ago, not 8, 9.
Mark Donnell, Karis LeVert, Zach Irvin, Derek Walton Jr., Spike Albrecht. Wow. Yeah, 2014. So this would be that's the worst loss that they've had in the last 15 years. So thank you for clarifying that. This would be the second worst loss. This is the worst loss in the Juwan Howard tenure thus far. And the honeymoon stage is over, folks. And as I told the group chat last night, you're going to see now the seats getting hot. People, they're not going to sit around and deal with this. They're not going to allow, hype train, and then have a team that looks uninspired. Will Cheddar's the only guy out there that looks like he gives a rat's behind, unless Hunter Dickinson makes a play and then flops his arm between his legs to make it, a gesture, maybe a pun off of his last name. But in Central Michigan, you go 3 of 9 from the field. You're 7 feet tall. You're a junior. That's completely unacceptable. If you have NBA dreams, sorry. People are going to point to the podcast that he has, and I don't have a problem with him podcasting, streaming. I don't care about that. But, like, if you're going to be out there talking, you better back it up. And anytime somebody's brought any 7-footer worth a lick to the table, they've gave you the business. Oh, and by the way, Central Michigan doesn't have anybody like that, and they out-rebounded you by 12. How? How does that happen? Central Michigan had 3 scorers in double figures. That's it.
And they CMU went 6 for 30 the 3-point line.
It's pretty good. If you can match it with 6 of 22. You don't shoot well. You don't defend. And to be honest with you don't play with any passion. Like I said, Will Cheddar's the only guy out there that locks in, starts screaming on defense, looks like he's going to spaz out on somebody. I love that. I love that. This team lacks leadership. This team lacks veterans. And this team lacks talent.
There's a thing called talent. They don't have it.
Like, sorry, we recruited the wrong guys. Like, Terrace Reed might have a bright future. Will Cheddar, but Isaiah Barnes. Bro, where you at? Joey Baker. I like him, but he's a spot-up shooter. He's Bojan at college.